Keep in mind, I am not a welder. I'm just a guy that owns a welder. Hey, welcome back to Left for Dead Garage, where in my free time, I decided to pick up another project. Even though I said 3 projects ago, no more, or even though I said 3 side jobs ago, no more side jobs. But I guess you just gotta know how to talk to me and sucker me in, because sometimes I just can't say no. So I had about 15 minutes to spare, and my buddy Chris suckered me into a good job here, even after I said I'm too busy. So what we got going on is this fine S10, and all we're doing is door seals and wiper blades and maybe headlights. Yeah. No, really what I'm doing here is I am mocking it up. He's got a 49 pickup, Chevrolet 3100. Super solid truck. Lucky, he got lucky and found that thing. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of deciphered the instructions. This is a Russ D cab mount kit for 47 through 55 first series. There's 2 55 pickups, the first series and the second series. So this is for 47, hope I'm saying that right, through 55 first series. Cab mounts for an S10. This is a 118-inch wheelbase truck, which is almost perfect, or is perfect, for the short bed 3100 pickups. 49, 47 through 55 first series. I don't speak those trucks very fluently, so I've kind of went through the instructions and kind of summed it up, started on the cab mounts, and that's what I'm doing now. And I kind of wanted to get an idea what was going on before I looked like a total dum-dum and started this video and sit here and try to read and stop the camera and edit it out and waste battery and so on and so forth. So pretty nice kit. I think it's around 600 bucks. Comes welded. There is another brand called Code 504, and they are months out, and they're triple what these cost. Is there a difference in the product or the fitment or the, I don't know, no clue, never done this. So we're gonna figure it out together. So what we got here is he actually already started stripping this thing. He cut the mounts off here, there. The front horns have to be trimmed, like they're lopped off, and then they have to be, I believe it's at an angle like this, something along those lines, or maybe the whole thing gets chopped off. I can't remember. All this suspension junk gets coming off. I'm actually doing a 4-link and airbag setup for this chassis too. But the main thing right now is getting these cab mounts mocked up, get the frame clean. You can either drill them or weld them. Well, it wouldn't be nothing drilling through from here back. It's single wall. Well, up front here it's kind of like a Camaro or Nova front clip. It's, you know, it's double 2 rails. I would much rather weld than have to drill anyway. So what I'm going to do is I've got them marked, and the way you put this first one on, it's 2 1/8 from this hole to the front of this. Now, I use dial calipers, so I know it's pretty dang close. And then you land the rear cab mount, which is from the back side face of the front cab mount to the front side face of the rear cab mount, is 32 3/8. So from here to here, 32 3/8. And do the same thing on the other side. Knock these back off, get this cleaned up, and get me probably a good, you know, 4-corner spot. So I'm going to drag out the grinder, and well, I'm gonna mark that side first, and we'll get it all laid out, clean it up, put them back on there, remeasure, and tack them on there. And then what I'm going to do is the truck's at his house and it's still fully complete. So I'm going to get these tacked on today, and this weekend, it's Thursday. What is the date? I don't know. It's the 10th today, I think, July 10th. So this weekend we're going to haul the chassis back over there. He has a lift, so we'll have the cab in the air. We'll just set the cab down on this chassis, make sure everything's kosher and jiving like it's supposed to, and then I'll haul the truck back over, or I'll haul the chassis back over here, finish welding, and then we'll proceed with the bed mounts and the front mounts with the front mounts. So I'll show you how I lay this out, and we'll mark it and we'll go from there. Puts a lot of faith in these stamped holes. So it's 2 1/8, so 2 inches, 125 thousandths from here to wherever it lands up here. So all I did, I locked the calipers at 2 1/8, and I'll just come in here and I'll just scribe me a spot. And he has the mounts all Sharpie labeled, so cab mount front, and according to the instructions, the mounts are not left or right specific. So, and oddly enough, they do set on top of that double frame rail where it laps over. So, and that's how they are in the illustration or the picture or the printed off instructions. So that's how we're going to do it. You can see my scribe mark right there, hopefully. I'll just inch that back to it, and we'll clamp it on there, and then we'll go from the back side of this one to the front side of that one for whatever I said, 32 3/8, and mark it, take it back apart, clean it up, clamp it, measure it again, and we'll put a tack weld on there. Alrighty, I've measured, even came from the back of the rail to this hole, and from here to here, 32 3/8, 2 1/8 off this. I got them tacked on there in these top corners, and a little spot down here in the bottom, a little corner here, and one little spot here. Same way with this side, just where I know it won't fall off, but at the same time, if I have to move them, I can get to it easy with the Ziz wheel. Hopefully I don't have to move them. Well, I guess we'll leave it off here, and we'll pick back up when we haul it back over to Chris's and test fit the cab. All right, back on the 49 project. We got the cab test fitted. Didn't video it, probably should have. Chris brought his forks over for the tractor, and my father-in-law's tractor has quick release, so that made things so much easier. He has a lift at home, like I was saying, but the cab and the lift actually didn't jive well, so the tractor method was actually better, and there was no transporting this chassis or cab and stuff back and forth. But most of the 49 is out there on his trailer. That way I can test fit as I go, because once the cab's on, then we can do the bed and proceed with the front clip, and you got running board brackets and bumper brackets, and also air ride. Got the air ride stuff that's not showed up yet, but you know, it's coming. So I did realize that this mount should have stayed. It's a bed mount, not a big deal. I had a parts truck out there, so we sawed it in half, and then I plasmaed off pieces off the frame rail earlier. So but in Chris's defense, the Code 504 kit does remove those, so that's the video he watched. No big deal, live and learn. It's not like it's a major. Once I get the bed kind of situated, then I can mark that and we can weld it back to the frame. So what I'm going to do tonight, or this evening rather, is finish welding the cab mounts put it back up on jack stands, get it nice and high, and I'll probably take the cherry picker and just pick the chassis up. That way I can stand here and weld them and get a good weld along the bottom. I'm not 100%, like I feel like these, if you're bolting it on, I feel like these would be an essential thing. But since I'm welding it, I really don't feel like these are necessary. And you know, these, so these would, as you can see, it says frame and cab, and then it's got holes on the sides, and then these holes clearly go through those holes, and then you would, it actually says drill and tap. So I feel like if I go along here, back along here, down both sides and along the bottom, it's not going anywhere. And these will just look, I just don't feel like it'll look right if all this is piled up in there and welded together. I mean, that ain't gonna fall off, you know? So I don't even think I'll put those on. It's his truck. If he wants them on, then I'll do it. But if it was mine, I wouldn't do it. So let me get this chassis up in the air, drag out the welder, and let's get to putting these things on for good. All right, I got them welded on here. I got to go back and weld the bolt holes on the passenger side. Forgot about those, but it's not a big deal. Keep in mind, I am not a welder. I'm just a guy that owns a welder. So just keep that in mind. All right, got them put on there. Run a bead across the bottom, up the sides, plug these holes. The same for this side here. That side's burnt in pretty good. I'm gonna set it back down and weld the back side, and then I gotta get those two plugs. The cap mounts will be on there for good. I think we're about to get a storm, which that should be real good for videoing. And I'm pretty sure I'll drag the directions out, or the instructions, and we will see. Honestly, to be honest with you, if I knew it wasn't going to storm, I would set the cab, because he brought me body mounts today. Actually, we went to a place up in Claremont, North Carolina. It took about an hour to get there from here, called Dave's Truck Parts. If you were remotely 2 hours from the Hickory area, Claremont's right outside of Hickory. It's really easy to find, really cool little town. No shortage of small restaurants and such. Dave's Truck Parts, check them out. Chris got running boards, chrome running boards at that. Got a smoking deal on those. He got front and rear bumpers, chrome, bumper bolts, wiring harness, universal 21 circuit wiring harness. It's a member Rebel Wiring, made in USA. American Auto Wire kits have went outrageous, like $700 and $800. This kit was like $240 or $270, I can't remember, but it looked great. I mean, it was real quality stuff. It looked just like the wire and all felt and looked just like my American Auto Wire universal kit that I have. So the only thing that didn't have was a chrome grill. He had some painted grills, but Chris wanted a chrome grill. Can't blame him, because the chrome grill does look best on that series of trucks. Well, actually, they look good on all of them. What am I saying? Yeah, 47 to 59. No, 47 to 87 is the truck stuff they carry. He had a ton of stuff. So, yeah, Dave's Truck Parts. Check them out. And I actually picked up a radiator support for a future project that I had. Follow me home, that we will cover, I guess, eventually. We'll cover that eventually. But yeah, another project. Like I needed that. But, you know, I was too busy to do this project. But if you talk to me in rusty, crappy Chevrolet truck, well, you know, that might get my attention. So yeah, let me set this thing down and finish welding. And dang, it's raining now. I really wish I could get this cab set on tonight. I get the cab set on, he's sort of kind of positioned, then we can set the bed. If I quit talking, I can do something. So I'll get back to you. Alright, that took way longer than I figured, but it's level and it's hanging from the strap way before the tractor ever picks it up. So let's see how long it takes me to set the cab on the chassis.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Product, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
All right, the iPhone decided to not work because it got too hot right about as I set the cab on. Had the GoPro stuck to the roll bar of the tractor, and I don't know how much it got either. Obviously, truck's back down the hill, cab's sat on here. We'll get it in here and put it on jack stands, and I'll start finagling the cab around, and we'll get it close. I should have some sort of bolts just to drop long enough to drop through the holes and make sure the cab doesn't go anywhere. Chris is supposed to get some bolts, and once I drill the back holes, I'll let him know what size to get for the body mounts. So let me get this thing situated, and see if we can't attach the cab for the time being. Then we just take it all back apart. But I think I've come up with a better way to suspend this cab. From the front, it's fine. I think I'm gonna ditch that aluminum tubing, and then these rockers are really solid. So I feel like if I come off right here with the strap, I do 4 individual straps with 4 individual adjustments instead of that bar running through the center. I feel like I can get it. Once I get the cab up, start leveling it. It won't be so bad to set it down, because I'm afraid I'll hit the roof with the forks. So I believe we picked it up from this side last time and it hit on the other side. So yeah, we're really bad about that. Truck was dent free. But yeah, I gotta get it situated. Slid forward a lot, probably a good 6 inches. Alright, the cab's kind of close. Sorry if the fan noise in the background is aggravating. I don't like it either, but I gotta cut the fans off out here so I can record and kind of try to leave that one on in the shop. So sorry about the background. Cab's kind of close. It needs to come back some. Check this out. For the most part, it looks all right. This way, should probably bump the back over. If I'm not mistaken, there's like a little rib. I would get the GoPro and show you. There's like a little rib that the original, I think the original mount was on the frame in the middle, and it like is shackle mounted, I think is what they called it, to the cab. And I think I have to cut those ribs off where those cab mounts are. That way the cab floor actually sets flat onto the body mount. So the back of the cab is probably jacked up a little bit, and the cab will actually have to come up some because we have body bushings to put in there. The energy suspension bushings here. So yeah, raise it up, whatever that is, almost an inch, I imagine. And these are going to the bottom. There'll be a big washer that sits in there somehow, some way. Yeah, truck's pretty solid. I mean, for 1949, it's not going to be super mint, you know, I imagine. I'm going to drag the instructions out, see what kind of trimming I got to do, and we'll get to it. All right, let me show you under here what I got to trim and kind of how this thing lays out. So the original mounts, the original mount holes land where these mounts here are. Cab's still not, you know, exactly dialed in. Looks like this clutch stuff here may need to be removed fully. Got a little inner rocker rot here, nothing too serious. See a little daylight right there. Nothing too serious either. Moving back here, so apparently that original mount had 2 bolt holes, so I believe we may have to go. It said sometimes use the outer, sometimes use the inner, and then you sometimes have to drill a new hole. So we'll do that. Drilling will be a last resort, so what I have to cut is these rails, these lips, edges, whatever, so that body bushing can sit flush to this floor. Same with this side over here. That one has to be cut as well. Hopefully we can use one of these holes on either, you know, one of these holes hopefully will work out. The bushings are also ovalized kind of for the bolt hole, so it gives you some fudge room there. But yeah, let me get this cab cut, and I may go ahead and pull the rest of that clutch stuff off because it could possibly be causing us problems as well. But I need to get this cab trimmed, and we'll try to get this cab snugged down, squared up and snugged down, and then I'll go up there and get the bed and carry it down. All right, it's ignore this mark. Ignore this mark. So it's this mark, and then these marks up here. I think I'm gonna go to this outer one, that way it gives me a little more room. I accidentally marked that before I got it kind of centered. Cut it close to the floor, and then I'll take the mini flap wheel and make sure it's flat. So that's my plan. Really don't want to be wearing this long sleeve shirt today, but at the same time, it's too hot to have grinding dust all over you. So neither one is fun, but if I can pick and choose a battle, I will. So this little, what's left of this little lip, I sure hope you can see, that has to go away too, because it needs to be flush to sit on that body bushing. And honestly, the body bushing is much smaller than this mount, but it's easier just to mark the whole thing. Rest of this cleaned up flush, and we'll move to the other side. I think I'm gonna put a little more lift on this thing. Actually, I might just go back down it with the Ziz wheel and try to cut that lip closer. Alrighty, you can see kind of how it's got to be. Probably a little excessive, but you know, it ain't gonna hurt anything having all that clearance. It'll be all right. That's kind of how I feel about it. So let me get this other side. Cut, and we'll stack some body bushings in there next. Alright, I got that stuff pretty well slicked up. Let's set this thing down. Hopefully we're in the same spot as we were. Let me check the location. Alright. That one will work. And this one will too. I feel like the cab needs to come back just a touch this direction. I mean, it'll work because the bolt hole in the body is slotted and the bushing, so you can see they're both slotted. You can probably have no problem going that way with it. And this one as well looks all right. Maybe turn this one. like that. Maybe it matches better. Maybe it goes like this. Either way, you get the point. And then we'll get some bushings put in these mounts here next. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and stop this. We're gonna break this up into several videos: cab, bed, front clip, bumpers, running boards. So that'll be it for the cab. I'm gonna jump directly into this bed and see if we can get these mounts figured out. But yeah, I mean, I don't have anything negative at all to say about these mounts. The guy has it really figured out. Russ D Parts on Facebook. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, pretty good stuff so far, so good. Hope I ain't hosing myself right there by saying that, but well, you know, it is what it is. So thanks for watching Left 4 Dead Garage. We'll see you on the next one.